Yeah, when you see Zathura, you'll love this. Right there.
We made a decision early to go with Stan Winston Studios to design with us the Iron Man suits.
That's going to be too kicky.
Yeah.
And that's too matty. I like the brush feeling.
Yeah, this is kind of
I'd like to say, gosh, everybody was just clamoring after us to do Iron Man, but the fact of the matter is that the minute we heard that Iron Man was being made, we went after it. We're all Iron Man fans. It was like the perfect thing for the studio. So we went after the show, and at just about the time that Jon Favreau was signed to actually direct it was when we took our first meeting with Marvel, and Jon was in that meeting.
This particular film was a little bit more interesting because there was already a design idea or a series of design ideas in place. They had conceptual drawings of Iron Man that fit a certain body proportion and a certain body type. So we had to inherit those and then bring them into our world and make them function. The big challenge was the fact that they hadn't cast anyone to be Iron Man.
And here it is. Here's the final.
And that's what we come to.
Here it is. Yeah. That's what we get for the amount we have to spend.
The journey you generally go through in the creation of a suit is you sit down with Stan Winston, his design team, our internal team, Favreau, the producers, and everyone starts with drawings and images, and you Photoshop, and you get to sort of a 2D drawing, like a color drawing that you can hang up. That then gets moved to a modeling stage, to a 3D model, so you see a quick time of a model that turns. Then that goes to a clay maker, and then you see the first clay made of it, and it's something tangible now that you can touch and you can spin.
And we're convinced that a human head would actually fit in this thing, right?
The ears are right up inside, right up against the...
It's exciting. This is when you really get a sense of the movie coming together, when you start to see this. It's a bigger leap in some ways to go from an idea to this than to go from this to the actual movie.
And then there's generally a maquette that's made, which is a miniature desktop model of it, and it might be only 2 feet tall.
it's a work in progress, but it's coming along.
That's great.
Obviously, we don't have the wardrobe when we get with Elgin.
And then you wait, and you know the next step is the suit. And it's the full-size, shootable, physical suit that a person's going to get into.
I've never made a movie of this size before or of this genre. I've always been a fan, but it's a daunting undertaking. The day I knew everything was going to be okay was the day that Robert Downey Jr. was attached to play Iron Man.
That is gorgeous.
What Kevin's going to do, and they're going to take a cast to your foot so that it's a very low relief strap.
Stan Winston's reputation and Shane, the guys on that team, I've worked with them before. Every time you go into their shop, you go, oh my God, and they did that, and they did that, and AI, and this and that, and you see a history of films that I grew up on. The reason that I'm playing Tony Stark, the reason that I'm involved in Iron Man, the reason that I'm so excited is I'm crazy about movies. That's why I wanted to become an actor. That's why I could cry watching Chud, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers. I buy into movies, I love it. I see The Fly, I don't care if that's Jeff Goldblum going, you know, I'm like, I'm in it. They're transporting, the fly's dying. I mean, I'm a sucker for this stuff.
Yeah, again, I'm just thrilled to land another gig with you. That's cool.
Me too, man.
Yeah. The best thing I can tell you about me is ultimately I just don't do anything. Well, I'm sick. I'm out of here.
All right.
Later.
Get a good night.
Stan, thanks.
Good to see you, Rob.
Okay.
I'll see you soon. I walk in like a fan because I say it humbly because I really don't do it. I did it when I started. Now I oversee it. Shane oversees it. Everybody. I just enjoy it. I come in and it's easy for me to say, wow, that's cool. Do more of that. You know, make sure my name is on the screen.
How many gags are you doing?
We're going to do the inclined one
Yeah.
after this one, but this one right now you're more upright. We're just going to do a small blender section.
Hey, I don't like my little tummy there.
I'm not doing all this core work for nothing. That's all I'm saying. Behold the mass. I'm beholding the
We could hold off on this part. We are building a prototype while we're going. We've never built an Iron Man suit before.
Dude, you're zooming in on my hammer right now, aren't you?
He's up on the hammer.
twisted parlor games going down here.
And so you're given a launching gun, and then you have to hit the finish mark with the suit done. So it's not like we are ever able to kind of make one and then scrap it and make another one and make improvements and scrap that. And we have to actually work it all out and deliver at the time we're supposed to.
John, don't. Johnny. Faster! Thank you.
Right now you're in the Stan Winston mold shop, the finishing shop. What you see behind me is where most of the parts are being modeled and parts are being painted. There's about 450 individual parts that make this suit. This is going to be the Mark II's chest. This is where the RT will go, and it's actually spray chrome metal, and it's been brushed. This is actually the process of putting in the rivets based on the design. And it's not really a polished rivet at all, it's just the illusion of a polished rivet. These are two pieces from the Mark III, and these are from our early test. This enormous calf that has sort of the accoutrement of like jet engines and things. But the foot goes in here, and then these panels had to be designed to slide and move. These are large sections of the Crimson Dynamo that are being made. This is a negative flexible mold, and these are just quickie temporary molds to pull out hard shells. What's interesting about what Trevor's painting is that this is a flexible paint for urethane that doesn't crack or buckle, and we have a lot of parts that are actually flexible. And it took a long time to get that to work. And this is Tim Nordella, who's mechanizing the Crimson Dynamo. There's a hatch that opens, revealing the sinister man who's inside. Eventually, it'll all be dressed like a very, very tight and down below, like the cockpit of a dive vessel. But right now, these are just the outer shells and sort of the escape hatch of this particular thing here.
When you work with someone like Stan Winston's company, so far, this is John and my second film with them. It's still a pretty magical experience when that suit's first rolled out. Shane likes to put it behind a curtain generally and unveil the curtain in a very dramatic way, and there was Iron Man standing behind.
What do we do today?
I turned it on. Voila!
And then you look at it and you touch it, and it's sort of half excitement and half fear because it's very real. And generally you're pretty close to production at that point when that suit's shown to you. So hopefully your research was right, and the proportions all line up, and the textures are good, and the colors, and all the decisions you made along the way make sense.
Once you start to not see the whole guy, the proportions of him, and I think 235 is a good move here. I think it holds up really well.
When John first saw it, he was all smiles. I mean, he was really happy. Once the stuntmen had really become accustomed to the suit, when they started out, they were just a little afraid of damaging it, plates intersecting and chipping off paint and that kind of thing. But by the end of the day, he'd really gotten the full range of motion and had sort of learned to live in the suit. Those dailies at the end of the day were just amazing. I think everyone was just blown away.
You have to be strong and you have to be athletic to do this. It's like wearing very heavy football gear. Your endurance level has to be up for it because it's a double-edged sword. We have to make it light enough to move, but we have to make it heavy enough not to just completely, crack apart when somebody puts too much muscle into it.
So just do a, like the first guy, outside the door.
The Mark I with the flamethrowers and stuff was close to 100 pounds. Without the flamethrowers and the gas and everything on it, it was maybe 60 or 70 pounds.
Okay, and roll camera.
What it feels like you're doing inside the suit doesn't relate at all. When I'm walking, if I look down to see my mark at all, they notice. But when I roll my shoulders up and try to get the hero pose, they can barely see it. So it's taken a while to watch ourselves on camera to learn what it looks like and what the moves relate to.
Another rotation, Mike.
Like right here, it locks out. Here, the weight comes down on my shoulder. So to be erect, Is this what you're looking for?
Well, I just want to see it, to see if it, because right now we're seeing, I see you crouch, right?
Yeah. The hero poses kind of came from us just kind of striking poses and looking what looked best, and then them saying, yeah, hold that, and things from the comic book that they had took and poses they want, and then there were some that we came up with our own, and just different looks, and, you know, trying to show that you could see his character. If he's angry or if things are going good in the suit, they wanted to see that on camera.
Roll camera. Action.
Yes, of course there's going to be a great deal of digital work that has to be done to bring something like this to life on screen. But the fact of the matter is these suits truly exist. And they are going to be there. And they're going to be on the set. And they're going to be actors. And we are going to see the real thing along with the digital thing. But when you as an audience are looking at it, screw you up a little bit so you really don't know what you're seeing. Is that real or is that digital? And then you let go.
My background as a filmmaker is not in this sort of genre. I've dabbled a little bit in special effects in Zathura and Elf, but really I come from more of an independent background, primarily a comedic background. And so I really wanted to offer a human side that would fit in with my sensibility of filmmaking. And in assembling the cast that I did between Robert Downey Jr. and Jeff Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow, Terrence Howard, that's a cast that I would be happy to have in a drama or a comedy. And to be able to have them to support a bigger-than-life superhero really offers the possibility to exceed what people's expectations might be of this type of genre.
Listen to me. You are like a little child sitting next to its father in a car with a plastic steering wheel, turning the wheel, but its father's driving, Tony.
Well, then let me out of the car. Join me. Let's get there and let us start. We can raise all the funds we can. What do you mean?
I was the one who arranged the injunction, Tony.
You could have saved a lot of trouble if you just...
Did I hear you there?
Yeah, no, that'd be great. That'd be great. I'm in the house.
I think it was my manager, David Schiff, was very excited about this project. He was telling me about Iron Man. And I said, oh, who's directing? And he said, Jon Favreau. I said, oh, God, he's such a wonderful director, writer, and actor. I said, he'd be great to work with. And who's playing Iron Man? Robert Downey Jr. So, wow, so that's a pretty good team right there. And he said, keep me posted. This sounds like a good, something I'd like to get involved with.
We'll let you warm up a little bit, and then we'll start throwing a little movement into it.
Robert's a guy who is very disciplined in his approach to everything he does, and he's really gotten his body and his mind into a very, sort of clear, disciplined state, and that sort of carried over into how he prepared for the role.
Wherever direction is, just point kind of the opposite way, right?
Yeah, when you feel it going the other direction, act like you're trying to counter it. Okay, go the other, there you go, just like that.
I think he was very aware that he sort of had a burden in this film that he hadn't had before. He could sort of be charming and funny and come in and out of a movie and steal scenes in the past, but now he was sort of an iconic superhero.
It's good to eat about 10 minutes before this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I weight train crazily, and I do a lot of martial arts and yoga, Kung Fu, Wing Chun Kung Fu, but I was doing that anyway. About a year ago, I said, I really want to put on some size, which isn't easy when you're in your late 30s, and now I'm 41. I thought if I'm ever going to do a movie like this, I've got to do it quick before it's not embarrassing. But anyway, I feel like I've got a 5 to 7 year window, and then if it goes past that, then I'm sure all the optical stuff and CGI will have advanced to make you look better.
It's good. How's those legs, baby?
Yeah, no, great shape. Legs are ready.